Welcome back. So now that we have this concept of damage types, it logically makes sense that we should have a concept of resistances to those damage types. Now here in execcalc damage, we're looping through this array that we've created in Aura gameplay tags called damage types. And here we can get set by caller magnitudes if they exist in our gameplay effect, mapping a damage type tag to some damage value. But now that we're going to take resistances into account, we're going to want resistance tags and resistance attributes. So while we're in this for loop, it'd be really handy if we knew which resistance gameplay tag was associated with which damage type. So for that reason, it might be a little bit more handy if Aura gameplay tags didn't have a damage types array of gameplay tags, but rather a damage types map of damage types to damage resistances. Now, if we're going to have damage types and resistances, we're going to need gameplay tags for those. So the first thing we should do is add our resistances. Now, we only have one damage type, and that's fire. But I'd like to decide all of the different damage types for my project at this stage, and that way I don't have to keep going back and adding more damage types and more resistances. Then we can add our resistances to our attribute set as attributes. So the first step is to add gameplay tags for all the damage types and all the resistances, and then we can create this T map instead of using a T array. So let's go to Aura gameplay tags. I'm going to go ahead and close all other tabs except for execcalc damage and open up Aura gameplay tags. Here it is. And we have damage. We're also going to want resistances, and we'll have one for each damage type. So we have damage fire. I'm going to decide on having 3 other damage types. In addition to fire, I'd like to have damage lightning. I'd also like damage arcane. We'll just call this one of those types. And I'd also like damage physical. And that will be for melee and such. So we have 4 damage types: fire, lightning, arcane, and physical. And these can be sort of the elements, if you will. In this game, we'll have that as a theme, as one of the character classes is Elementalist, a master of the elements, right? Now, since we know that we need resistances for each of these, let's go ahead and add those gameplay tags here. Now, these are going to be attributes, and really they're just secondary attributes, but in case we'd like to categorize them a little bit differently so that we can sort things by tag, preemptively I'm going to place them in a different subcategory than secondary. I'm just going to place them in resistances. So I'm going to make an F gameplay tag called attributes underscore resistances, or just resistance underscore fire. And then we can have attributes resistance lightning and the others. So we'll have attributes resistance lightning, we'll have attributes resistance arcane, and we'll have attributes resistance physical. But again, these are just secondary attributes. They'll be treated exactly like secondary attributes. The difference is, well, they're resistances. But that doesn't really mean anything from a technical standpoint. It just means something to humans when we want to organize these. Much like some of these secondary attributes are related to combat and others are more related to the vital aspects, such as max health and max mana, and so on. Now, we have damage types and we have resistances. I'd really like a T map instead of a T array, so we can associate all the resistances with the damage types. So I'm going to change this from a T array to a T map, and it's going to map from gameplay tag to gameplay tag, so F gameplay tag there. And we can call this damage types to resistances. Now, we need to define all of these new gameplay tags and then make sure our T map has all the tags to resistances. So let's go into the CPP file and let's flesh this out. Now, just to make things easier, I'm going to make a multi-line comment here that says damage types, and after damage types we'll have the resistances, So we'll say resistances, and let's just make sure we have all of these here. Now, first of all, this gameplay tags.damage types no longer exists. Now we have a map. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that for now. And in addition to fire, let's add the other three. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 more damage types, starting with damage underscore lightning. This is going to be for the fname damage.lightning, and we'll just say lightning damage type. Next, we'll have damage arcane. The fname is damage.arcane. Comment says arcane damage type. And finally, damage underscore physical. The fname is damage.physical. And the comment is physical damage type. So now we have all of these damage types. Now we need the resistances. So let's go ahead and define those. So first we have attributes underscore resistance underscore arcane. And our fname is going to be, and this is very important not to typo here, attributes dot resistance dot arcane. And this will be resistance to arcane damage. And we're going to want 3 others, right? So let's go ahead and just paste it 3 times. And the next one will be, I don't know why I did arcane first, but the next one can be fire. And it will be attributes.resistance.fire. Comment says resistance to fire damage. Next we'll do lightning. The tag is attributes resistance lightning, resistance to lightning damage, and finally we have physical, which will be attributes resistance physical and resistance to physical damage, like so. And just to separate these, I'm going to have another multi-line comment that says effects. Now, we need to set up this T map, and I'm just going to set it up right here. We'll have another multi-line comment that says map of damage types to resistances. And we'll just go ahead and do all 4 damage types to resistances. So we're going to say gameplay tags dot damage types to resistances dot add, and we're going to add damage underscore, we'll just go in alphabetical order here, damage arcane, and we'll use attributes, resistances, or resistance rather, arcane. Now, we can't just pass these straight in, we have to use gameplay tags dot, right? Gameplay tags dot, as this is a static function, so we need to use our actual gameplay tags static variable here. Now, that's going to take care of arcane. We need to take care of the other 3. So I'm going to paste 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and the next one will be damage underscore. We'll go with lightning. Mapping gameplay tags resistance lightning. Next, we'll do physical. Again, just going in alphabetical order here. Physical. And the last one is fire. And having them all together here shows us that this map here contains the damage types to resistances. This is just for convenience, so we don't have to go out of our way to figure out or hard code these relationships. This allows our algorithms to be more general in the future. So now that we have gameplay tags for all the damage types and gameplay tags for all the resistances, we can start implementing resistances. Now, something I have to go back and change is the exec calc, because we were looping through that array. Now we need to loop through the T map. So gameplay tags.get now cannot be just damage types, but damage types to resistances. And now this is no longer a gameplay tag, but a pair of gameplay tags. So we're going to say auto reference pair, and we can remove this damage type tag here. This can be a const auto pair. And really, if we want, we can just use its actual type, a T tuple. So for transparency, we can do that. Now we're getting the set by caller magnitude using the damage type. That's going to be the pair.key, right? So we're going to use pair.key here. Okay, so now we're set up we have gameplay tags for our resistances. They're associated with damage types. What's left is to make those resistances, these ones, actual attributes in the attribute set. And we'll do that next. So great job. I'll see you soon.